This Thing Called Life is a podcast dedicated to exploring the twists, turns, and transformative moments that shape our lives and the lives of others. It is a space where we can share our experiences so we can learn, grow, and empower change. You're listening to This Thing Called Life. I am your host, Atlas. Today, you'll hear me share my personal journey with art as a form of healing and self-expression, exploring techniques like pointillism and abstract art, and reflecting on how creativity can be a mirror of our internal states. I chat about overcoming self-criticism, the importance of making brave choices, and how art can serve as a spiritual and emotional practice. I start things off by doing and sharing a little art. Oh, hello. Um, right now I am trying to fix these dot bottles that I have. So what am I doing? I'm doing art. And I wanted to do this episode. I wanted to uh share a little bit of my experience. Maybe share some stories or insight or honestly whatever comes to my mind. But as I share, I'm gonna do some art. Um so what I've started doing, and for those that are watching, I'll show you like a little glimpse, a little sneak peek, as they say, into what I'm doing. And um, so what I'm creating is pointillism, I believe, and it's just like a series of little dots. I've got 6 different colors. It's really easy to do. It's very, very relaxing. It can be it can be frustrating at times, just like right now, I can't the paint is not coming out of the bottle. Um, but it can be very relaxing, and very enjoyable. Um, I think this pointillism just, can be a great introduction into, um, art. Oh my god. Well, it's working. I guess this is what they call a happy little mistake. I feel like Bob Ross right now. A modern Bob Ross. So yeah, definitely messed up, but actually no, this is a happy little mistake. Look at this. So we're just gonna let it ride. We're just gonna go with the flow. I used to well, backing up a little bit. I think um I feel like art can be, definitely like a great way to express ourselves, but doing it in like a gentle way. Um, I used to be very like hypercritical of myself and what I created. I remember when I was in college, um, I would maybe if I put the mic over here, I gotta figure. All right, all right, children out there. So in college, I was super critical of myself, and like if I got anything, I would always focus on the negative, always. Like for example, if I was I obsessed about schoolwork and getting good grades. I could have gotten like a 90, like a 98 on an exam, and I'd be like, well, what are the 4 questions I got wrong? and I would just fixate on those, like, instead of looking at the things I got right, or at least, like, at least appreciating it. I know, I would just, fixate on everything I got wrong, and I was just like, yeah, I would just stew in negativity, and that led to depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and suicidal ideation. So there you go. And there's no chance I would have been doing some art, but luckily, you know, after I got, oh my god, this is all right. That worked out well. Um, but after I got support from other people, from friends, family, from a therapist, things slowly got better. And um, part of my journey is doing art. I feel like, so I hope, um, y'all that are listening, I hope that you find time to do just like a little bit of art, even if it's doing like a mandala, like, if you're listening on the train or you're at work and just like 5 minutes of just, doodling. I think doodling can be a very meditative practice. Um, and I think it can be a fun way to express ourselves, but um, be gentle with ourselves. And so pointillism, what I'm doing right now, I think can be like a wonderful introduction into art. I used to do, well, yeah, I guess I still do, um, abstract, abstract art. Come on, there we go. Abstract art was another fun modality of art that I think it can be a little bit easier because there's really no right or wrong way to do it. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do art, period. Period. Um, but I think abstract art can be even easier because you're not like necessarily painting any particular thing. You're just, it's abstract. Um, all right. Also, this is more difficult than I think. Well, it's more difficult than I thought, to be honest with you. But I think it's turning out pretty well. What I've noticed um in the past, in doing anything that like I was creating, whether it was like I like taking photos and video, doing poetry or painting, and what I noticed was that anything that I was creating was a perfect snapshot for where I was at in my life. I remember doing like this one painting, like abstract, and it's there was it looked like that there was this like sort of dark shadow, this black shadow, sort of like walking, um and then there was like green and like light colors around it, and it's kind of how I felt at the time. I didn't know, but like reflecting back, there was still some healing to do and to let go, and different choices to be made, which again, I feel like, there's all different types of ways we can heal and move on. And there's like meditation, there's psychotherapy, there's psychiatry. um I mean, there's all sorts of these pieces, and I think one of them is like, just making different choices in life. Um, I feel like when we heal and we accept and we move on, we're offered new experiences, but a part of that, these new experiences are um, us making different choices. Because if we don't, that's okay. It's sort of like these loops. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but I know I did that the same the same things would happen over and over and over again. It's not until we make different choices that I think it's almost like we're offered like a new loop, or at least that's in my experience. Maybe it takes me a while to learn in a loop. Um, but I do feel as though that there are all these different pieces and aspects to healing, and one of them is making different choices. Setting boundaries, saying no or saying yes. Doing and saying the things that we're afraid of. Um, and another example, I got to figure out what do I want to do? What do I want to do next? I think I'm just gonna start doing random dots. Do I do random? Maybe I do. I think I'm just gonna do random dots. I'm gonna start with red. Yeah, yeah, that feels right. What was I gonna say? Another example, I guess, of like this idea of when we create things, whatever we're creating, ourselves is put into that thing that we're creating. So, like when I was making the painting, like, it was sort of like a snapshot of my internal experience. I was making my external internal. Yes, I was making my external internal, and that has happened like many, many different times. One of the so I do different workshops around creativity, love creativity and poetry and painting and music. Um, and I mean, one of the main reasons why I do it is because what I noticed is especially when I was doing photography, I would be taking pictures, and I was taking pictures of seemingly like the same scene over and over and over again. I kept on getting drawn to, I didn't know why at the time, uh, drawn to like pathways, or like, for example, like, I would want to take pictures of me standing. I would be standing um, in the center of like a railroad track. Maybe I can bring up one of my photographs. Um, and I would just I would just take pictures of the path in front of me, and I didn't know why, but I just like kept on wanting to take these pictures. What I realized when I was like reflecting on these photos is I many things were happening at once, and for me, I wanted to. A part of me really wanted to feel like I was on track in my life. I just wanted to feel like wherever I was, and like I wherever I was exactly where I needed to be. Um, and I desperately wanted to feel like I was on track. And so that's sort of, one reason why I was taking pictures. But I honestly feel like there's a spirit within us, within all of us. And so on one hand, my, I guess, maybe my ego brain or this one part of me wanted to feel that way. I wanted to feel like I was, on track in my life. And at the same time, this, this internal guide, this internal light, um, was showing me that I was literally on track. That I was taking it's like I wanted to feel like I was on track, and that this thing within me, this thing around me, God, universe, was trying to tell me that you were literally on track. You could not be on more on track than you are, because we are putting you in the center of these tracks. And I think those both things were happening at once. I wanted to feel that way, and I didn't feel that way. Um, and I feel like God, universe was trying to put me in these situations to kind of show me, like, brother, you are literally on track, my friend. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I love using creativity in reflection, and um, because I feel like whatever we're creating, uh, we're we're taking a snapshot of our internal experience, and making it external. And that goes like for honestly for anything that we're creating, and it's music, it's poetry, um, it could be media, it could be like a pottery, it could, I mean, anything. It could be laws, programs. It could be, I know it sounds strange, but like coding. Um, there's all sorts of ways that we can be creative, and whenever we are creating things, I feel like we're bringing our internal world external. So it can be a wonderful way to use it as a way to reflect. So one of the I want to share with y'all because I do this activity with people. I have, and if you're listening, if you want to, do this on your own, please do. And also, please tell me, either send me a message, um, or a comment or whatever. Set an intention to like either one day, one afternoon, one morning. It could be 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you. But set an intention of like, all right, I'm going to go take photos of whatever my intuition is taking me. Um, and just go around taking random photos. It could be anything and everything. It could be the ground, it could be the sky, it could be, restaurants, it could be inside your house. Honestly, it could be inside your house. Just go around, take pictures, and come back and pick. I would say pick one, but you can pick multiple. You can pick multiple photos and write about it. Write about some of these photographs that you've taken. I think you might be surprised at what might come up. You can write a song about it. You can write some poetry. You can write a story. I think that's can be like a really fun way to start. Where if maybe we're a writer and we don't know what's a writer, use that as like a segue to write a story. Um, you can and reflect. Uh, maybe I can put some prompts in the description that I use for the workshops that I do. I do workshops at Omega during the summer, and I'm looking for new spaces to do workshops. So if you're listening, and if you have like a yoga studio or I mean any sort of space to do hypnotherapy, meditation, and creativity, please let me know. I'm always looking um, for new spaces to do workshops. I also do them online too. So if you're Jesus, so if you're interested, let me know. Um, the There's something else that was coming to my mind. Oh, the I what I want to bring up is this upcoming weekend. It's going to be Saturday. What date? What's the date? I think it's Saturday 28th. Well, this is yeah, my computer's not working. That's fantastic. Um, I think it's Saturday, and I believe it's not working. So I'm just gonna go ahead and guess that it's the 28th Saturday. So I volunteer, and I love being able to do this. It's fantastic for many reasons. So I volunteer at a place called organization called Pegasus. So and what they do is they include it's like equine therapy, and specifically they do work with veterans, adolescents, and but they also do work with special needs, children or teens and adults. And I've been volunteering there, I think, for the past maybe like few months. It's been a wonderful experience. Just horses in general. I mean, they are these powerful yet sensitive creatures. They can be. It's a wonderful experience watching this like collaboration between like humans and animals um and doing intentional healing work. Uh, it can be it's a wonderful thing just to, I mean, to be a part of and to do, but to be like an observer. it's just fantastic. There's a lot of work around like anxiety and regulating your emotions when you're around horses because they can pick up on horses can pick up on the smallest things in their environment, the smallest changes, and so it can be a wonderful way to be with these powerful animals, but also do some healing work. So at any rate, this is I get to volunteer on Saturdays at this organization, and they're having a fundraiser. I am going to be playing basketball. I'm going to be my calendar finally popped up. That's great. Yeah, so the 28th is a Saturday, and they're gonna be doing, basketball. So the more shots that I make, the more money is raised. Um, so I would love it if anyone I mean, a dollar, um, I'm fairly good at basketball. Um, I don't know how many shots I can in 2 minutes. I haven't I haven't practiced, but I feel like I feel like I could do 20, right? I feel like I could do I believe it's 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to make as many shots. I think I for sure can do 20 make 20 shots. I'm thinking maybe closer to like 30. Um, I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if it's like, do they count layups? Is it 3-point shot? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but, I'm gonna put the link to donate, and I hope y'all even just like a dollar, because what they do is fantastic, working with special needs, children and adults, and it's a, uh, it's just a wonderful organization, what they do, who they serve and how they serve. So I'm gonna put their website, um I'm gonna put their website, in the description, and if you'd like to donate, you can also do if you're, if you're worried I'm gonna make like 100 shots, um, you can do like a specific, amount and not like per basket. But I'm kind of hoping most people have just been doing like, overall, I'm just going to donate $50 or $100 or whatever it is. But I kind of want someone to do like $10 per shot because, like, I want some little motivation to, you know, make some shots to, make some money for this organization. So it's just like a little plug-in that um, I would like to plug. So I'll show you what I got so far. I don't know what else to do. Maybe like rings. That's alright. That's all right. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some rings around these. Um, yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? Um, but yeah, I love doing anything in the arts. Oh, the other thing that I um did this past summer. Um, and so I think this kind of goes to what I believe and what I share is um, I feel as though that a spiritual path consists of, I think that there's like and this is just personal belief. I think that there is a path for us, meaning that there is free will. So like we have the freedom to do whatever we want when we want. Um, but I also feel like there is a to some degree, um, a somewhat of a spiritual path for all of us. And, that's healing, that's growing, that's taking responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, things we're doing, things we're saying, that's making different choices, it's setting boundaries and sticking to them. And, um, one of them is doing and saying the things that we're afraid of. And so anytime in my life, oh, I need to do some yellow dots. Why haven't I done yellow dots? Also, healing is like has to do with like identity and how we see the world and ourselves, racial identity. For me, in my experience, growing up as a white man has a particular experience. It just does. Um, it's not good or bad. It just is. And acknowledging that was a powerful experience for me. Some things um, that when we kind of talk about, you know, racism and racial identity, you know, I think some white people benefit from reflecting on racial identity and what that means. We do. So I know it can be really hard and uncomfortable, and that's sort of the point is, you know, um, I I think someone is powerful when they do and say the difficult stuff, and uh, exploring our racial identity is can be really challenging and hard. And I admire those that can do difficult work um, but y'all, we we benefit. I mean, our the way in which we view ourselves in the world expands. So our awareness expands, and we get to see ourselves differently, see the world differently. Um, and um, I don't know what this tangent I just went on. But that's important about my experience. I think there's all sorts of pieces of healing and growing, and it's doing and saying the things that we're afraid of, but it's also um, around racial identity. Also, identity. There's all these different pieces that religion, sexual identity, gender. They all shape our experience. They all shape um, how we see the world and how the world sees us, and that shapes our experience. Um, but we all benefit from reflecting on, we're all in these bodies having this human experience, and it shapes our experience. So being able to reflect on it, I think, is, at least for me, can be really important. What's the next color that I'm gonna do? I think I need to do. By the way, I like to jump into song every now and then. Like almost like I'm in a musical. So segue into I think what I originally wanted to mention. Um, Last summer, this past couple summers I worked at. I had the wonderful opportunity of working at Omega Institute, and they do these. Maybe I should have her. I should have her on. Her name's Poi, and she's a yoga teacher. She does all sorts of things. She does writing workshops. I'm gonna reach out to her. And she's a director, and um, she invited me. She every summer she directs the staff, and she does a show, a theater show. And I had always wanted to do theater and be a part of a show. But I was so terrified. I mean, just so terrified. And because, in being in recovery, and part of my journey is, learning and growing. in any time that I wanna do something, but I'm afraid to, that has always been my cue of that is for me to do, and that's a part of my spiritual path. Um, so, um, he said yes. I was like, "I wanna do this, but I am terrified." So, I was like, "Alright, I'll do it." The fir it was I mean, it's a wonderful I wanna do it again. I wanna do another show. If you or, if you've got a theater show, maybe I'll do it at Omega, I don't know, but I wanna do, I guess, like, acting or theater again. It's a lot of fun. Play these different roles and you get to, yeah, I think it's so much fun playing these different roles and and being these, expressing ourselves in different ways and it being just acceptable. I mean, these are, characters on stage. So we're able to give ourselves permission to be any particular way, as I guess is what I'm saying. So I do the first show 2 years ago, and it's great. I have fun. It takes a whole lot of time and effort. I've so much admiration for people that do theater, and it takes a whole lot of time and effort. I mean, a whole lot of time. And I just did these small roles, these well, one or two scenes. But it does take a lot of time and effort. And so I did the first one, it went well. And then the second one comes around. This was last year. And so she tries to get, people involved. And so Poi sees me and she's like, oh, she knew I did the last show. She's like, you should join. And she's like, super excited. And she gives me the role. And it's and the role is oh my God, I forget his name. But the role is it's an orderly, and he works in a psych ward, and he's in recovery. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's me. That's my story." I was a psychiatric counselor in Baltimore, and it was more or less this combination of being an orderly and making sure the milieu is safe, but I would do psychotherapy groups and, psycho education rather. I would do psychoeducation groups on CBT, uh, coping skills, meditation, all sorts of things. It was a wonderful experience. At any rate, I was like, wow, this is like, I definitely need to do this because this is like, that's me. I am in recovery and I worked in the psych ward. So I do the show and, I'm a little bit more, just a little bit more confident because I've already done this. And I also had a great partner that was, I mean, everyone that was on the cast was great, but I was fortunate I had someone who was, a lot of fun to work with. So we and it's just one show. It's just, it's, one show, one night, boom, you're done. We there's 2 scenes that I'm in. I do and it's one of the first scenes, of the whole show. So I go up and I do the first scene, and I nail it, and I'm like, "Yes! Yes!" I remember giving the director like a hug, high five, and I'm like, "Let's fucking go. Let's go. Nailed it." And I'm like, I'm not, all the nerves are all away um, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm like feeling myself. Broadway, here I come. I, I do, I go into do the next scene and it's my turn to do lines. I just completely forgot. I completely forgot my lines, completely. And, like, the more time that went on, the more I was unable to just retrieve these lines. Luckily, um, the colleagues, yeah, another actor sort of, like, fast forward and jumped and did a line ahead, and we just sort of fast forward. Um, and on one on one hand, I do what I love about sort of acting in theater is sort of it's a group effort, right? And we all want to um, bring our best so that it's a great performance. And so I don't like that, it had me possibly had an effect on scene or other people's roles and lines. But at the same time, it was a perfect moment for me. I wouldn't give up that moment for anything. Was able to the worst possible thing on stage in front of people happened, and yet I didn't die. Nothing bad happened, and that was, like, really important for me. Like, I can go up on stage and express myself in any particular way, and nothing terrible is gonna happen. Like, the worst thing, right, that could possibly happen on stage happened, and nothing bad happened. And so that was just, like, it was a turning point, for me. And after that, like, I started to not be I was so much more comfortable singing and playing guitar in front of people. That's another thing that I wanna do more, uh, singing and playing guitar. Maybe I'll do that next time. But that was definitely a turning point. Is one, it was, doing the thing that I was afraid to do, but I wanted to do. And so I hope anyone that's listening, if there's anything that you want to do, but you're also, worried about it, or that's not for me, it's for other people. I promise you, there is so much for you on the other side of that. And I think there's an equal but opposite relief, meaning, if you want to want to quantify how this worried or angst that you have by doing this, whatever this thing is, um, there's going to be like an equal but opposite relief on the other side. So if you're really, really, really worried about it, you're going to get a lot of relief from doing whatever it is. And I feel like all of us want to, um, you know, all of us want to be creative, and all of us want to take a different path in life and do something different. And but we're afraid, we're for many reasons. But I promise you, you know whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is you want to say, but you're afraid, I promise you, there's tremendous relief. Also, what I can also promise you is that you are giving another human being permission to do that thing. So you are um, sort of being of service to other people, and you're being an example for someone else. Um, I promise you it happens. It happens all the time. When we do the thing that we're afraid of, we give someone else permission to do that thing. And so you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for another human being. And that can be a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I'm going to keep doing art. I hope you keep doing art. Um, and I'm gonna reach out to Boy, and I'm gonna have her on, and she can share a little bit. She does so many different things. She can share about her yoga practice. She's done documentaries. I mean, this woman has done so many different things. So thank you for uh, being here, being with me, and letting me do some. Was it polka dots? What was that? Pointillism. Doing some pointillism. If you enjoyed this episode, you can support the show by liking, sharing, or subscribing wherever you're listening. You can find us online at thisthingcalledlife.center. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit thisthingcalledlife.center/contact. Until next time, thank you for listening and being with us on This Thing Called Life.